Yolan True, and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy, and it's time for another crew video. I get so many questions about crews that from time to time, of course, I will show you what crews I use for certain things. But in advance, I have to say once again, the crews I'm using, with a few exceptions like PMC, which is quite an all-rounder for everyone, or the Chakotay Armada crew, many other crews are really depending a lot on your research, on the level of the officers, and many other things that you have done. So when I show you the best crew for me, it doesn't always necessarily mean it's the best crew for you. The best example is the comments I got on my video on my G6 hostile crew. I got a lot of suggestions about Janeway crews, but I tested them all in advance before I ended up with it with my Strange New Worlds crew, because those Janeway crews that seem to be working for stronger players are not working for me. My Strange New World crews is working much better for me. So whenever I show you crews, there's a chance that they will work for you as well. Like with the silent enemies and so on, from a certain level they will work for you. But it's always a thing of testing. So I give you some examples that you can test with my crews, but it doesn't always mean if it's the best for me, it's the best for you. But I still want to show you my Chimera crew. The Ceres invasion is just over, but they will come again. And so it's still time to do that. And for this, we just go to my officers. And there you see, in this case, I do use a Janeway crew against the Chimeras. It's working. Chimeras look like solo armadas, they work like solo armadas, but they are not solo armadas. I said that in my Chimera video. And so armada crews are not the best crews for this one. And that's why, because of the specialties of the Chimeras, I will not go into those details again because I made a video on this, I picked a kind of a very good PvE crew for me for those Chimeras. And this is, in my case, on the bridge, is Janeway, Khan, and Dayash Tolra. I've got her, and she is especially made for invasion entities, and that's why I picked her at some point. And these three are working quite well together. Janeway is working quite well because of her... First of all, because of her cap maneuver, because it increases your shield mitigation when you are hit by a hostile or armada. So in this case, it doesn't matter if it's an armada or not. In this case, it's not, but that works. But what's also really important for me is, besides the mitigation, is that she raises my isolated cascade damage against non-player hostiles and armadas. Cascade damage does a lot of damage. And that's why, especially against so big hostiles like the Chimeras, and with this crew I can do the level 60 Chimeras, I need a lot of damage. And that, combined with Khan's ability to increase the critical hit chances, that is a really big advantage for me here. This is a cumulative ability, so it can add up. And if you have critical hits, that also increases your cascade damage. That's why the combination of Janeway and Khan is so important. And I personally combine this with Dayash Tolra, because against invading entities, and Chimeras are like the Fatu Cray are invading entities, she can increase the base weapon shots by 100%. And the chances for my Dayash Tolra is 40%, it later will be 100%. And increasing the shots is something we're using already against armadas with Miles O'Brien. And in this case, Miles wouldn't work. So I use Dayash Tolra to get more shots. And if I get more shots, combined with critical hits and cascade damage, then of course I can, within the rounds I need to destroy those Chimeras, I can fire many more shots, and with that cause much more damage, and that's why it's working that I get those down. And that's why I'm using this bridge crew. And as I said, with this bridge crew, I can take out level 60 Chimeras. Below deck is always something that is shifting, that I'm not always preparing like this. I'm trying to find the proper solution for even making more damage against them. That's why, for example, I'm using Nurse Chapel and her Protocol 12, because she also is raising the isolated cascade damage. I'm using, in my case, the hull breach ability of B'Elanna Torres, but that's only because I'm using the Rotaran, which gets a boost in case of hull breach. And so try to find your officers you have. I have other options here, of course, but I'm changing my below deck crews from time to time, but other chances may be you, for example, because he also increases your critical hit chance to put you below deck. That's what I usually would do, and not Pelia in this case. Or I have sometimes, of course, the Doctor there and Bircher Calra to get more loot out of those Chimeras. But that really depends how strong you are, how easily you can do those Chimeras. Because if I need more damage to take them down, I wouldn't take the Doctor or Bircher Calra. Dane is there because I just did something else where I need more impulse speed. That's no one I would use for Chimeras. And so it really depends. Can you afford to put a little bit of loot gathering below deck with the Doctor and Bircher Calra, or do you need more damage below deck? So there you have to see which officers you have. There's so many below deck officers that I cannot really tell you what I'm always using, because that shifts. I'm using the loot guys now because I can do the 60 ones because of the bridge crews and Chapel, and so I can add some loot guys below deck to get more loot. But overall, what you really need is to get damage against those things, and damage against hostiles. And that's why this bridge crew is working for me. And like last time with the PvE crew for the G6 space, or the 6-star space, I'm quite curious to hear what other people are using. Because that can be a hint for my viewers as well, what to try as well. Because as I said, the same crew might be good for the one and really bad for the other, because of your research, the kind of ship you're using, etc., etc. That's why I'm always saying this is my Chimaera crew. You can try it and maybe it helps you, but depending on your level, it might not. So I really wanted to give this as one more example, like I did with the G6 PvE crew. People have never tried that. I know some that are using it now that never tried it before, because they didn't do as many tests as I did with those. And so I will continue doing those videos just with suggestions for you for something that you can test. And as I said, put your crews in the comments below the video and on Discord. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.